I own you now. But whose head could I give you to satisfy your fury?
The general will do. Rome has taken everything from me. But I will have my vengeance.
That's from the trailer for Gladiator 2. Ridley Scott returns to the carnage of the Colosseum 24 years after the release of the first film. And he's got a new crew of ancient Romans that includes Denzel Washington, Pedro Pascal, and Paul Mescal. CBC senior entertainment reporter Eli Glasner is here now with his review. Eli, the sequel of the original Gladiator, the first one was so good. I mean, we all loved it. So where does this story pick up?
20 years later. So you recall Russell Crowe, the one and only, the original model, Maximus. Sorry, folks, spoiler from 20 years ago, didn't make it to the end. He's worm meat now. But he was fighting to bring back the dream of Rome, the democracy, senators. It didn't work out that way. So when we catch up with Rome in the movie, the Gladiator 2, we see that there's two new emperors, emperor twins who are smothering this dream of Rome with their decadence, with their ambition, with their evil, which is how we find Pedro Pascal as the leader of the Roman army, as the general who is laying siege to Nambia. And that is where we just saw him there on the screen, young Lucius. He has grown up. So he was that floppy-haired tyke in the original film. He was the son of the emperor's daughter. Well, Lucius is all grown up. He is now played by Paul Mescal, and he is living in Nambia. But unfortunately, Nambia is just the latest part of Europe to be conquered by the Roman army. And again, just like in the original, Lucius loses everything to the point where he is bought by a merchant named Marcinus, played by the one and only Denzel Washington, who's building his own cabal of gladiators. And he looks at Lucius and he likes what he sees.
It is an art, choosing gladiators. They're usually prisoners of war.
I claim this city for the glory of Rome.
You have something in you. Rage. Never let it go. It will carry you to greatness.
So there's Lucius channeling his rage at a baboon, a very angry baboon. Meanwhile, our general, played by the one and only Pedro Pascal, he's finally come back to the Roman capital. He is weary, wants to see his wife, but the emperors, these sadistic twin emperors, they still want more blood, more games, more to be conquered. Let's take a look.
Persia. India. Both must be conquered.
Rome has so many subjects. She must feed them.
They can eat war.
Pascal getting a bit of a glow up there, but we got our characters. So we got the gladiator, known in the film as the barbarian, on his mission of revenge. We have this merchant kind of hiding in the corners, and of course the emperors.
So let's take it back to Roman times or Siskel and Ebert times. Who gets the thumbs up and what gets the thumbs down?
So, this is what they did in the Gladiator ring, right? I mean, for Pedro Pascal, love the guy, but for the character that he's been given, I'd have to give it the thumbs down. I mean, he's oh so noble, oh so reluctant. I just think an actor of the quality of Pedro Pascal deserves a better role than this kind of reluctant army general trying to bring back the glory of Rome. But let's talk about the biggest misstep in this film, and that is Paul Mescal. Now, Mescal is an amazing actor. Watch him in All of Us Strangers. Watch him in After Sun. This is an actor known for his vulnerability. This is an actor who will open himself up emotionally. You look into his eyes and you see this ocean of sadness and complexity. Now, why you take that guy and try to supersize him into this, this gladiator, this He-Man hero of a sort? I don't know if it's the best kind of match, but let's take a look.
I don't fight for power. I fight to free Rome from men like them.
And the problem for Mescal is that he's not just playing Lucius, he's playing kind of this faint shadow of Maximus, because Russell Crowe's character is everywhere in this film. The gladiators themselves revere him. His words, his motto are written on the walls of the Colosseum. Paul is a great actor, but he's never going to out-Russell Russell. And just to remind us the greatness I speak of, let's go back to the 2000s for a moment and watch the original.
Father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
I mean, that is movie star magnetism. How can Paul Mescal and his kind of brooding emo warrior even come close to competing with that? But let me give you the actor and character who rescues this sordid sequel and makes it worth watching. Take a look.
Rome must fall. I need only give it a push.
Look at that smile. Look at that spark. Look at how Denzel Washington, as Macrinus the merchant, who is gathering his team, who has his own schemes, is weaponizing his magnetism. Denzel Washington has announced that he's going to retire soon. He says he's got 3 or 4 movies left. If you've seen him on the media tour, if you see him in this movie, there is a joy, there is a looseness. This is like watching a jazz musician. He knows his instrument perfectly. He will arch an eyebrow. He will flash that smile. You know exactly what this character is doing. At the beginning, you think he's a guy with all these rings and all these amazing clothes, and he's just, he's not a threat, but he has got his own schemes. He is so good in this film, you might wonder who you should be cheering for. Let's take a look at my rating. So, 3 out of 5. They should thank their lucky stars that they got 3 stars, and it's all because of Denzel Washington. Otherwise, it would have been 2.5.
All right, so you were not totally entertained.
Not entirely entertained, except for when Denzel is on screen.